Hello, welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and today I'm unboxing Shadows of Brimstone, Gates of Valhalla, Shadows of Brimstone's adventure by Flying Frog Productions. I am looking forward to seeing what we get inside here. So let's take a look. Lovely artwork on the front. So we have all of our miniatures in here. So let's have a quick look at some of these guys. So we have our trolls. These guys look like they're not going to be too hard to assemble, but I've said that now, so they're going to be absolutely so-and-sos. Then we have our Norse kind of Viking allies. Then we have our Librarians of Targa. Then we have our lovely actual Vikings themselves. Really cool looking sculpts on here. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like painted up. And we have our kind of ice giant guy. Once again, really looking forward to assembling these guys. We have Gremlins, which I think they were in one of the... a lot of these things that they cross over with other board games they've done. This is essentially a multiverse in a box, really. And these must be the Centurions, just by looking on here. So some Targa Centurions. Okay, so that's the minis we get. Tell you how to get all that together. We've got our adventure book. We've got our rule book. And I'm just going to sit down and have a look through some of this stuff. So the adventure book. So they always talk to you about the general plot that's going on there. We have a map here as well, which is really helpful if you want to do a hex crawl or RPG this maybe. Tells you about the story campaign. And then, yeah, it tells you all the different 8 adventures you're going to get in this. And that's it. Well done. Then you have the same 6 that you get in the base game of Shadows of Brimstone. How you level up your heroes. This is their upgrade chart. They don't have individual ones. They have one which they share, and they can choose off of each of these. Talked about the expedition camp, which you're going to upgrade this time around, which is interesting. Here's some lovely painted miniatures of everything you get inside the box. Talking about archive towers in here. Now, that was a miniature you could get in the Kickstarter. I did not get the pledge level for that, so they're going to be tokens, I imagine. And then, yeah, a bit about information about the lore in here, which is always really interesting. And then how to paint, which is so handy. The daily events charts. And we also have mutations as well. So you get a prehensile tail, for instance. This guy's got like kind of rocks, bones coming out of him. And then our character sheets at the back. And a campaign log. A campaign log! Amazing. So that's the adventure book. Rule book. This will talk about, well, the rules. All the different tokens and stuff you get in here. Pelt markers, for instance. That's interesting. All the cards. It goes through all the components in a really good manner. These guys have rage, which they're dealing with this time around. They got shields and armors. Tells you about your first game. In total, like in the Valley of the Serpent Kings, you are going to get, I think, 15 scenarios in total, including the basic first one you get in here. And everything in this box, you can basically just make your own adventures up as soon as you get this out. So if you're looking for a Viking dungeon crawl with monsters in it, then yeah, this is the one to get, guys. I don't know of any others that do as well as Shadows of Brimstone. Well, with all the compatibility for everything else you've got in here as well. And it talked about the compatibility here, what you can pick up and what's compatible with what, which is, yeah, pretty good. We have our Viking camp here. The other side is our depth event chart. Our Viking camp, library knowledge there. Library is interesting in this one because it basically gains knowledge on your heroes. And yeah, basically it's going to make things a lot harder for you the longer you stay in the library, which is really interesting. Then all the different things you can buy at the shops, an injury chart in there as well. Standard stuff for this, but essentially if you've not played one of these games before, this is once you finish your dungeon crawl, you go for a camp phase, and that's where you can then just upgrade your character, buy stuff, sell stuff. Okay, and then we have our enemies. So we have archive towers, which like I say are going to be tokens in this, and they're all double-sided, so they have like a brutal side on here as well. So once you level yourself up, you're going to be using stuff off this elite chart. And then when you get to a certain point, you get brutal ones, which are very tough. But you need to have that as you level up and you get them stronger, so the enemy should too. Have Centurions, the Frost Giant, the Gremians, Target Librarians, Tentacles, which will be tokens as well in this, Trolls. And then we have our Viking Berserker. These are double-sided, so you can have alternate sexes, whether you have the miniatures or you just use different miniatures. So yeah, these are the 4 different Viking types you can be, and they all play slightly differently, all have different like starting equipment and stuff. Then we have our Viking warrior allies, the basic side, which is really basic, and the advanced side, which I highly recommend you use, and then mutations and upgrades if they survive what they're doing. We got our red and white dice, red for the bads, white for us, and we have a special blue dice in here. The normal D8 that comes with Shadows of Brimstone is just standard blue. This has got a nice little effect on it. Not as nice as the Valley of the Serpent Kings one. That's kind of green and glittery, but yeah, it's grand. 3 big decks of cards here. So let's go through some of this stuff. Okay, so we have our Targo Plateau artifacts, Archive Interface, Prometheus Staff, Centurion Power Sword, Blast Shield, Dark Wave Gun, Archive Crystals, Shadow Globes, Index Uplink, Charge Relay, the Malice, and Key Fragment. Then we've got encounters you can get in the Targo Plateau, so let's choose this one. Towering statues. The vaulted ceiling of this chamber extends high into the shadows. Massive stone statues of ancient figures stand watch over this hall, staring down at you with the stony gaze of a countless years' vigils. Spirit 5+, if successful, gain 15 XP as you hold your head high, walking in the footsteps of the ancients. If failed, take 2 corruption hits, recoiling under the judgment of this powerful and ancient place. So yeah, you get quite a few encounters in here. Then you have your personal items, which is when you're starting the game, you're beginning with one of these various things, which will help you out somewhat. Then we have our team abilities, which is a new thing for adventures. So basically you can use these in the game to assist your fight against the bad guys. It basically gives you just a bit of help, I think. So Battle Rage, Pillaging, War Cry, Odin's Mark, Raven's Sight, Without Warning, and Blood of the Gods. What's really good is they're all really well themed for the pack you've got here. Very different to the Conquistador ones. We then have our starting upgrades for our characters, and you get to choose one of each of these. Also get starting gear as well as a personal item. So depending on which one you choose, you're going to be having Expedition Torch, Mail Armor, War Axe, Shields, Raider's Helmet, Viking Axe, Heavy Furs, Housekill's Bow, Norse Sword, Berserker Axe, Wolf Pelt. Lots of different options there for you as well. Then we have our scavenge cards and loot cards. Now, I had a look at the previous one we opened, the Valley of the Serpent Kings. And I said they're themed for that particular one. So let's have a look. Yeah, this is all Arctic and kind of... the curse... These are basically something that are Glint of Light, Curse Gold. I think they're basically the same. But the rest of it, there's some new art on there, which is nice. Like I say, they themed it for this pack. Then the loot as well, that is exactly the same as the other one. I think Loose Coins was called something different in the other one, but yeah, all good. We also have some helpful cards in here as well, which tell you about some of the rules. Oh, and a starting gear that seems to have got shaken up in the mix there. I'll have to check to make sure I've got all the cards here now. But yeah, there's a bunch of player aids in here which are really helpful. Especially when you've got so many rules flying at you from every angle. Okay, let's take a look at our world cards. So Northlands and Target Plateau, the library. So the Northlands, Dark Shadows, when the darkness crosses into a new stage of the depth track, every hero takes D6 horror hits. Odin's Light, whenever the hero party crosses into a new stage of the depth track, every hero may recover a grit on the D6 roll of a 4+. The Target Plateau, the library, data collection, whenever a depth event is triggered, also add an archive marker to the depth track. Knowledge Unbound, all scavenge and loot cards are worth 5 extra experience points. So this is a place to come if you want experience, and the Spanish Fort and the Swamps of Jargano are places you want to go if you want money. Interesting. The trolls have their own traits on this. So there's different types of trolls you can get which will play very differently depending on who you've pulled out, which helps get the variety of this game. When you don't have a ton of different miniatures to play with, it's good that they've got these ways to kind of get around that. Gear-wise, you've got throwing spears, supply carts, mead jugs, throwing axes, warrior spear, fur cloak, chain helm, fire arrows, seafaring talisman, rune charm, raven feather, wrap leggings, leather braces, animal hides, troll tooth, and oath breaker's axe. So a ton of gear in there for you to play around with. Then we have our darkness and growing dread cards. These are specific for this particular themed box. You could put these together with the Valley of the Serpent Kings, but you'd be pulling out, yeah, the artwork wouldn't match for one thing. But yeah, you can construct these decks however you like. This is all a jumping off point. You can do whatever you want with this. It's your game. Have fun. And then we've got all of our Viking Growing Dread cards. These things you do not want to get, so try to get rid of them as much as you can, guys. Then we have the not so interesting map decks, which just basically go through what maps you're going to be pulling out, what tiles will be coming out when you're going through this. There's one for the Northland and one for the Target Plateau. Then we have librarian codexes. These things actually apply to the librarians you're going to be facing, I believe. Then we have our threat decks. We have our Otherworld threats, Centurions, Archive Towers, Frost Tentacles, Target Librarians, and Gremmians. Archive Collectors as well. So there's lots of different options here, and they're different varieties as well, which is really interesting. Threat decks, pretty simple stuff. You get trolls and other things. They have special notes on the lower ones saying you don't have to worry about particular rules. Then as you get worse and worse it goes on, you'll be drawing enemy traits to make them harder. They'll get special abilities to get higher up. When we get to epic threats, things can go really wrong for you. And what's cool as well is if you have the City of the Ancients, all those monsters are compatible. You can bring them in here. All those artifacts and stuff, chuck them in. Northland artifacts, rune stones, runic blades, Cape of Freya, Axe of Birma, Bow of Grimney, Odin Stone, Horn of Heimdall, Rune of Thunder, Ancient Norse Sword, Nidhogg Ring, Helm of Muspelheim, Trollblood, and Rune of Trickster. So you get some Loki stuff there. And then we have our Northland encounters as well, which will be various different themed things for the Northland. So that's all of the cards and stuff. Then we have our, underneath here, we've got all of our tokens and tiles. So we've got rage tokens, grit, meat, ale. And the meat could be raw as well, which I find quite interesting there. We have, I believe these are the knowledge tokens, which the librarians are going to be using again. See, there's the Targo librarian. We have pelt tokens as well, and the Norselands there. Oh, I like this. All these centurions you got to go past there. Oh, we got some nice artwork there as well from one of the little spindly chaps which we have in the City of Ancients. I'll be interested to see how well the City of the Ancient tiles actually artwork matches up to the other City of the Ancient tiles, and whether you can even combine them. I don't know. You should be able to. And finally, we have our encounter tokens, which are only 8 of this time around, which is pretty interesting. I keep saying pretty interesting. It is all pretty interesting for me. Maybe not for the watchers at home. Anyway, this is everything you get inside your box of Gates of Valhalla, and I highly recommend picking yourselves up a copy of this if you can get it, because Shadows of Brimstone is probably one of the best dungeon crawlers I have ever played. It's always a pleasure getting to the table, always fun, and what's nice about it as well is it's just so expansive. There's so much you can get out of this. You could just get this one box, and that would, you know, you could have stories to tell for ages with your friends. It plays 4-player with just this. There's not too many rules going on for just these boxes, which is great. When you add the extra boxes in the expansions, it can actually get quite a lot of things to remember. But yeah, I highly recommend picking this up if you are at all interested, because the Shadows of Brimstone line is just so good. It's fun, it's furious, it's, you know, cosmic horror meets some of your favorite themes. And I don't think there's any Viking dungeon crawlers out there. I might be wrong. Please let me know. I know you can get miniature-based skirmish ones where there's like rules for solo play and stuff like that. But if you are looking for like a solo game or want to play with friends, this is the one to get, guys. It's great. There's so many different things you can get for this as well. And these have just come out. So, well, on Kickstarter they've just been fulfilled, so they will be coming soon. But there's all these extra things you can throw in there. You got the Thunderforged Titan from Gates of Valhalla as well. This huge bad guy you can get into your games. And you know what? If you don't like Vikings, great. Get the Conquistador Valley of the Serpent Kings one. I'm not sure what these guys are going to retail as, but yeah, I think it won't be too bad. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, I've been the ever excitable Adam. If you want to see some Shadows of Brimstone in action, then please check out our channel, because we have got Shadows of Brimstone, the original Swamps of Death core set. Alex and I played through that, and we went through the Vampire mission set. That's what we did. And yeah, we had a blast doing that. It was really fun. And we will be playing this as soon as we get this assembled and painted. I hate playing stuff when it's not painted. So yeah, we'll try and get this assembled and painted fairly soon for you guys. So yeah, probably expect this in the next couple of months. I've been the ever excited about them. Until next time, guys, stay safe or die rolling.